Hi, it's Emma. Um, Today for PMDD project, I will be speaking about PTSD and PMDD, or abuse and PMDD. I do believe that my past abuse is linked to my PMDD. I don't particularly want to go into detail about the abuses I've experienced because I don't really feel comfortable discussing that on YouTube right now. And I also don't particularly want to re-trigger myself. But I'll go into like a general discussion over the topic and how it affects me. Let's see. It's a tough topic. That makes me uncomfortable to talk about. But I'm writing a memoir. I have about 200 pages. Been writing it for the past 2 years. I've stopped. I started it at the age of 24 and stopped. Like, I can't talk about my childhood right now. That's difficult. Plus, also, I don't really know who's watching these videos. I have to be careful. I don't need any hate mail. Let's see. I've been through emotional abuse and other forms of abuse and physical abuse. Physical abuse, I was in a physically abusive relationship a few years ago. I won't get too much into detail about that either, but it did really affect me. I know that my PTSD and PMDD are linked. I'm a lot more sensitive during PMDD. I don't like to be yelled at. If people, especially men, try to grab a hold of me or corner me or anybody, I'll freak out. Like, I cannot stand to be like cornered or like grabbed and without being able to get away. Being yelled at is definitely a trigger. If some stranger I don't know is yelling at me, like, I could get like really defensive. If it's someone I love and care about, I will just crawl into a ball and cry. Let's say, during PMDD, I become like a man-hater. I mean, I have a live-in boyfriend, and, I don't like to be touched. I like to stay away, especially from men. And, I mean, he has a tough time with this, and we're in counseling. And, it's just something that is not, like, I can overcome, like, very easily. I grew up with a voice inside my head thinking, you're not pretty enough, you're not thin enough. I mean, I've had eating disorders. I've had an issue with alcoholism and drinking to hide my feelings or my anxiety. Or like just drown out that voice inside my head that would always tell me, you're a loser, your family doesn't love you. If your family can't love you, then who would love you? And that voice inside my head became a lot worse during PMDD. So loud that the suicide, like, I would start becoming like, I never like try to kill myself, but like, I would start thinking to myself, well, maybe I'm better off dead, and because how badly I felt about myself. it was really hard, like, when I was in this, like, physically abusive relationship, especially, I mean, the abuse would get worse during my PMDD. Really bad. I would get kicked, punched, and, like, one thing, if someone's, like, yelling at me, or they, like, I feel threatened, I need to run away, I need to leave. And it's hard to do sometimes, you know, especially if you're in an abusive relationship. And I feel like, I mean, now I'm becoming more aware of my feelings and thoughts. That I thank all my wonderful therapists that I've had in my life, and my online Fearless Living course, Rhonda Britton. I really thank her too, because I'm beginning to not listen to that voice, that strong voice inside my head as much. I think my PTSD really has affected, especially during PMDD months, my interpersonal relationships. It's hard for me to put myself out there. I find it hard to trust people, men, women, like, because I've had abusive friends, partners. Like, I'm always afraid of, like getting too close to people, because I feel like, okay, well, if I get too close to people, they're gonna leave me. And they usually do. But I think, you know, I have to take responsibility for my own actions, because of that fear can drive them away. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. The paranoia that comes with that, like I'm not liked or loved, becomes intense during PMDD. Completely intense. Like I said, I'm like a man hater. I don't want to be around my boyfriend. I mean, he's read books on PMDD, and trying to open a bottle with one hand is like really bad. Anyway, he's read books on PMDD, he's watched videos and all that, but unless you've been through abuse, and it's hard to understand, you know? Like emotional, physical, sexual, you don't get it. I'm in dialectical behavioral therapy, like I mentioned before. And no, I don't think I'm a borderline personality, which the group is made for. It's good for learning coping mechanisms. I'm doing a lot of work on myself, because since I feel like, you know, my PTSD is related to my PMDD. I have so much like anger inside, so much like self-hate. I'm the type that I go around beating myself up a lot, blaming myself. So it's it gets worse. I've been in some like nasty situations because of the way I've treated myself, and like looking back at it, because I'm changing, and like I'm going through this like course, and it's really sad. It's really sad that I have like abused myself so much. I would never abuse someone or hurt someone the way I've hurt myself. It's like a sensitive topic for me. Recently, like, I've always been told, like, it's important to forgive, like, not for that person, but for yourself, for your own sanity. And I've always been like, I will never forgive them ever, you know. But like taking this Fearless Living class, I did actually like sit down during PMDD, and I had this like, I prayed to God and just set up this ritual to be able to forgive those who hurt me. It's an ongoing process, but I actually like just sat there, because I'm like, I can't deal with these feelings inside of me anymore, this anger, this hatred. I just cannot deal with them, and I think it really exacerbates my PMDD. Because like I said, that voice inside my head gets a lot stronger. And I shouldn't treat myself that way. I mean, you know, it's not nice. I've done a lot of self-destructive things, and it usually does occur around my period, I've noticed. Like, it's like that Amelia Jekyll and Hyde personality. It's gotten better, but I think it's because I'm working on myself. I'm working on myself, like, beating up. That's one thing that will get really bad. Like, I'll stand in front of the mirror and be like, oh, you're so fat, you're so ugly, look at your face, look at your breakouts, blah, 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 blah. You know, you're disgusting, and all this. But now I mean, I'm catching myself doing it, and then I'll stop. I'll be like, okay, that's enough of that. Yeah, I do want to lose some weight, like, I really do, but I'm not gonna, like, go back and starve myself. Do that. I have to do it, like, the right way. It's hard to do when you have PMDD. Also is important, like, I've been setting boundaries. I'm trying to attract better people in my life, and trying to open myself out more now. But it's also like I need to set boundaries with myself. Like, no, I will not allow someone to call me a name. I will not allow someone to physically hurt me. I will not allow someone to verbally abuse me anymore, ever. So I feel it's kind of like an empowering feeling. It's like I'm taking my life back. Like, I'm not a victim, and I don't have to beat myself up over my mistakes that I've made, or how others have treated me, or what I've done. Like, you know, I'm not an angel. What I've done during PMDD, what I've done when I've been drunk, like, you know, I don't have to beat myself up about that anymore. It's in the past. It happened. You know, it's just it's not easy living with, you know, the feelings of abuse and stuff like that. And, you know, it's not something that I can just overcome overnight. I'm becoming more aware of it, and aware of my behaviors and my actions, and, like, really just, like, treat myself with more compassion. Since I've been in this online course, and I just, like, I think this course for me, this online Fearless Living course, has been, like, a lifesaver, because, I mean, there's just so much I'm learning, and, like, I'm just so grateful for this course. And it's just, like, the feeling to know, like, yeah, I matter, I'm worth it. I don't need to be treated like a piece of crap anymore by anyone. And I always felt like I walked around with this big loser, like, tattooed across my forehead, you know? All this, like, kick me sign on my back. But I don't have to think that way anymore. Ugh, just discussing this stuff is giving me anxiety. I don't speak to my family. It's better for me. I mean, just a conversation with them can put me in an emotional crisis, and I'm not strong enough yet for that. I am just trying to develop more supportive relationships, and, like, believe in myself more. Know that, yeah, I do matter, and I think that might help relieve some of the PMDD stress that I have. So yeah, I do definitely think there's a link, especially with my depression and anxiety. I do think it's a lot of physical too, so it's not all just mental. But the mental aspect, yeah, I think everything gets exacerbated. I become extremely OCD. My sense of smell increases like 100 times. I'm really sensitive to what people say or think, but I also believe like I was always like a highly sensitive person. Yeah. Sorry, this like topic is kind of hard for me to talk about. I hope I'm articulating right. I mean, I just think it's important. Like, if you're suffering from any post-traumatic stress, you're in an abusive relationship, get out. It took me 3 years to get out of my last abusive relationship. And also just, work with a good therapist to help with the trauma. I do believe therapy is essential, but like cognitive behavioral therapy, dialectal behavioral therapy, where you're actually working on coping mechanisms for how, coping mechanisms to, certain triggers that could set you off. Instead of just like psychotherapy, I think it's important to learn these techniques before like delving into the past. What also helps me is like meditation. Sometimes like thinking, okay, treat myself like I would a child, or my inner child. I do like inner child meditations where I'm talking to my like inner child and making her feel safe sometimes. That usually occurs when I'm not PMDDing. I'm too kind of like ADD when I am. I still struggle with like social anxiety. Like, it's getting a little better, and it takes effort on my part, but to like put myself out there and meet people without feeling like, like everyone's out to get me, or, and that gets really bad during PMDD. Like, I feel like just like everyone hates me, or they're staring at me and thinking that girl's so ugly and fat. Like I said, it takes time to heal, and I mean, I think we can, as long as we like, work at it. And it might not take away all the PMDD symptoms, but I think just working on yourself, especially if you've had trauma in your past, is a good way to like heal and relieve some of the mental torture of PMDD. So I'm gonna end this now because it's like almost 18 minutes, and just end with, yes, I do believe that my abuse is definitely exacerbated, or the PTSD is exacerbated during PMDD. So to me, yes, there's a link. Bye.